Hi, this is Isabel Parlett, the Soundbite Shaman, here with another insight about how you can build the foundation you need to make money bringing your original work out in the world. I want to spend the next few videos answering some of the big but not necessarily obvious questions that have been coming up lately when I'm working with people on their message. One of the challenges I've been hearing a lot about lately goes something like this. Isabel, how do I talk about my process or my methodology when I'm using someone else's technique or tools? For example, I've worked with people lately who've been trained in neurosemantics, who offer noetic balancing, who do ontological coaching, or who use an approach called body talk. And the challenge and the trap that comes up is, how do you make those things come alive? Because you see, sometimes unless you're speaking to an audience that already understands what that is and the power of that tool or technology, the more you use the language and those specialized terminology and names of the techniques or processes you use, often the more distance you create with your audience instead of bringing them closer to you. So the real trap is trying to explain what this approach, tool, or technology is that you're using. And the curse of that approach is that even if you're successful, even if you successfully explain what this technique is, you haven't told the story of what happens when you use the technique. So even if you successfully explain it, you may not move people to want to work with you. So what should you do instead? What I recommend is that you start to develop a story about what happens for people, not only when they experience that work, but when they experience you doing that work. In other words, you tell a story about what people get to feel and experience that you consider most meaningful when they experience your work. You might talk about how people can enter a deep state of relaxation, or how they can unleash a flow of creative ideas, or how they might open to answering and exploring some of the biggest questions in life that they might not ordinarily find time for. So you are talking about outcomes, but they don't have to be hard-edged, bottom-line mass appeal outcomes like making more money and losing weight and meeting a romantic partner. Though if those are things you can legitimately address, more power to you. So what this does is it takes you out of using unfamiliar and potentially off-putting terminology and jargon, and it lets you start to tell a very personal, simple, human story that makes what you offer come to life. So if you're in this boat of offering a tool, technique, or technology that people are unfamiliar with, I invite you to give this a try and let me know how it works. I'll be back soon with another tip about making your message come alive. Until then, here's hoping you find all the words you need to shout out your message and rock the world.